Hello everyone, I'm Lachlan Loxton and today I'm playing Schastye. I'm assuming that's how it's said. And without further ado, let's get into it. And play. Now I have no idea what this game is about except for it's like an old pixelated style. And that it's short. My mind, it sure is pixelated. What is that? I cannot read for shit. I think that's a T-A-I and then some other letters. Can I interact with it? I just burnt some incense sticks, I think they are. I don't even have a fucking light in here. Anything else I can interact with? Oh, I can exit. Lovely. Restart. Let's continue the story. How do I write? Oh, it doesn't matter what I say. It's 25th April 2004. My name is Ivan Alexandrovich Yoto. I work as a car mechanic in the Russian town of Nizhevnaksok. While in my free time, I enjoy coding and literature. I have been married for 6 years. However, 4 years ago, I had to part ways with my spouse. It didn't happen earlier due to the 2 kids we had. Do you know what a Quinn is? A Quinn is a computer program that outputs its own code. Perhaps a more romantic person than I would compare it to a self-fulfilling prophecy. The divorce with Anna Matveevna Gato has not made my life easier. The most difficult part of it all was not being able to see my sons, Misha and Andrei Yato. At first, their mother would try to hinder our meetings in any way she could. Then she took them, moved to Neftejugninsk, severing our contacts completely. I apologize for my pronunciation of any of these names of places or people. I do not speak Russian, I cannot pronounce Russian names. Being left by myself, I succumbed to the solace for which my nation is notorious among the educated world, vodka. Hell yeah, fucking love vodka. Second favorite alcoholic beverage? Yeah, that counts as an alcoholic beverage. Vodka. But the best one? Absinthe. Green absinthe. Gets you drunk fast. Sadly, I cannot drink a lot. My actions were caused, additionally, by a series of cuts at my place of work that resulted in me losing the job. After spending all my remaining savings on alcohol, I had to move in with my mother, for I was not able to pay the rent. It's curious how similarly our brain reacts to some neural stimuli. It is proven now that most of the lingual formations invoke identical neural responses in the brain of most people. Therefore, the reading of this text, for example, would induce the same neural reaction in almost any human reader. We are living on the ground floor. My poor elderly mum hardly left the apartment while I started my morning with a bottle of talca on the bench in the front of our building. That way, I've soon found friends. The company was rather motley. It consisted of squalid academic can't say it. Afghan veterans unable to find themselves in civil life, Turkmen janitors and Sineway labourers who would spend their daytime at job site, occasionally beat their wives and drink heavily in the evenings. The latter looked as though they were born through condensation on the grey concrete walls of his town, being the literal extension of it. One person stood out among them. His name was Theodore Ivanovich Ryikbin. I'm not exactly sure how he ended up in our company. Fyodor Stepanovich, the stable job, engineer at the Dahovsky Ltd, a 2-room apartment at the Lenin Street, and as I have learned later, a small home library. When drinking, he never acted aggressively, never cried and complained. As a rule, his eyes gained some sort of a spark, and from a puny bald man he would transform into a charismatic, almost inspiring figure. One wanted to follow him. I got to know him better in last winter. In the evening, our company would roam about in the neighborhood. We would hang out on the porches, playgrounds, and yards of nearby apartment buildings. That evening, a janitor called Maksut and his homeless friend Vanitcha were having their usual fun, singing loud songs in the yard, terrorizing bypassing teens, and occasionally fighting each other. Fyodor Stepanovich followed them quietly while I was hit by a tide of melancholy, an emotion characteristical for that period of my life. At some point, I just sat down on a frozen tide sticking out of the ground. Snow started falling, wind was howling in the pipes above, the high rises around the yard were hiding me from it. I still had a bottle of the remains of talco in my hand that I was gradually finishing. Snow sticking to my face was already stopped bothering me. My eyelids were heavy. It was getting harder and harder to keep my head up until I finally fell into a heavy crepuscular dream. I was having the unusual murky visions that one experiences when under the influence. White trees that emitted quiet crackles, seemingly electrical in nature, surrounded me. Somehow I knew they were sycamores. It was hard to see anything as a wall of impenetrable darkness started at arm length. Aside from the crackles, the trees seemed to emit a different sound. It was quiet, light music, so tender and strange that it became instantly clear it was not of a human origin. After wandering for several minutes, or maybe days, I've stumbled upon an edge of that world. The stripe of white soil simply ended with a clean border. There was only darkness ahead. As I stepped past the margin, I began my unnaturally slow descent. I looked up and saw the rod gradually revealing its underside, an enormous creature sitting in an insect-like pose. It looked remotely like a monkey, had snake eyes, and was wearing some sort of mushroom-shaped hat. Its blue monkey lips were stretched in a thin, uncanny smile, revealing a row of enormous yellow teeth. I woke up in an unfamiliar apartment. That wasn't very big a surprise. Suffering from hangover, I was struggling to identify whose apartment it was. The room was hardly furnished. All it had was a bed on which I lied and a writing desk with a computer and a colourful poster depicting John Lennon. I'm not in my building. Stumbling, I proceeded to the door. Bookshelves occupied most of the next room. On a little pillar in the corner stood a small wooden statue. It depicted a sort of midget with a snake-shaped penis and a weird mushroom-like hat. A saucer filled with dry sticks of incense lied before it. It emitted light smoke. I could hear the sound of something frying from the kitchen. As I went there, I saw Fyodor Stepanovich wearing an old morning gown. He was frying some eggs. Something from the Beatles was playing on the radio. I awkwardly asked where the toilet was. He pointed silently. As I urinated, I felt more and more uneasily. What was that weird thing in his living room? Why did he bring me to his house? He must have known I had my keys with me. Strange explanations came to mind, mostly homoerotic in nature. I swept them away bravely. Finally, after gathering up the courage, I returned to the kitchen. Even now, my memories of everything that happened in the next year are crystal clear. Fedor Stefanovic turned out to be a decent man. He told me more about his job at Taka, shared a story of his own divorce, and showed me his library. It was rather strange. It was a rather strange collection. Fucking hell, there's a lot of typing in this. What's the point of that switch? I really interacted with everything in this fucking room. Yeah, let's put on some typing music. I saw a hip little book by Marishi Maki. Fucking hell. I'm not a reader. There's so much. My vision's going blurry, fuck. I saw a hip little book by Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, one exemplar of Shapev and Void by Victor Pevelin, even a shabby owl as if by fuck. Most of the space was occupied by a collection of works of some Marcel Griel. I'm not going to bother with the names anymore, fucking hell. For some reason the name fell familiar as well I had heard it sometime in my childhood. The guy seemed somewhat surprised after I asked about the nature of the guy's work, but was kind enough to answer. He was an anthropologist Africanist known for his studies of the Dogon people of West Africa. One can still acquire records of his expedition to Senegal in 1933, as well as some of his rather unconventional methods used by another guy during his research of the extensive and surprisingly sophisticated mythology of Dogons. After 5 volumes of work. Oh. Is this game a troll? I'm starting to think this game is a fucking troll. This is getting me to type some bullshit. Despite the numerous descriptions of allegedly real dialogue that took place between I'm gonna see you all in a bit when I finish typing this, because reading it must be boring for all of you, but I fucking hate reading. Even if you just find it entertaining, I dread reading, especially out loud. So I might see you all in a bit and finish this up. Fucking hell. That took me so fucking long. My fingers hurt from all that fucking typing, and thank goodness I just gave up on reading all of it, because that would have taken me ages. Again, I'm sorry if you just wanted me to read all of that out loud. I don't know what to say, I'm sorry, but you came to the wrong channel for that. Anyways, I'm going to leave this video here, and I will see you all next time. Bye.